Hey, everybody, it's Drew Scooter from Sleep With Me Podcast. This is Question Corner. If you have a question about the podcast, you can post it at sleepwithmepodcast.com/QQ. That's for Question Corner. And if you want to see answers to questions, they'll be there too. What else? I thought there was like one other thing I said I needed to remember, but I didn't write it down. But yeah, love to hear your questions. There's always great questions. And this question actually, I'm going to link, I'll try to remember to link to the answer, like a previous answer. This question came in from Bella. Do you write a script for each episode? Is that what it is? And this was on Spotify. And Bella, I'll link to a question where I think I talk about the releases and the thoughts behind the releases, so I don't go on too long a tangent about that. But for there are written episodes, and I do write a soft script, and I'm going to kind of go. It's interesting because I've tried different ways of. I'll kind of walk through what I mean by soft script. So it's maybe, I don't know how long this video will be. But so maybe I could slow down because I try to make some of these videos fast. So I write with pen. I've written with pen and paper, and then I've written with a form of digital paper. That was like 5 or 10 years ago. No, it was supposed to be a paper that you could digitize and reuse. That did not work. But recently somebody was telling me about they're not a podcaster or they write for work writing, and they were telling me about their experiences kind of with digital paper now. And I was like, well, let me give it another try. So I'm giving digital paper another try. What I describe as digital paper is like writing on a tablet. And I don't want to get too much into the weeds on that. But so what I'm going to run through is a future episode. This will be a spoiler alert for anybody that's super big into continuity and Sleep With Me and Wake. And I know there are people out there, but they kind of like to be spoiled. The few people that are really into the plots and stuff. So this is my notebook for Journey into the World of Friends, episode 8. I don't know. Let me look here. What episode just came out? Episode 1 or 2 when I'm recording this. Let's see, that's episode 3 is scheduled to come out on August 20th. So okay. So this is, this would be the same thing. Another reason I switched to using a tablet is that I was using this size notebook anyway, because I could keep 2 or 3 in my bag, depending on what I had to write for. So this is JWAF episode 8. This is like, I'm not going to show, like, some point I'll make this available somewhere, but like the first page, I guess it's not showing up on the camera anyway. The first page is like my notes. So I think, let's see how many pages are in this notebook. It was a lot longer than I thought. About 58 pages. Oh no, 68 pages. But the digital gave me a little bit more freedom, but maybe I'd do that many. So like this is breaking a story in 2 weeks to writing it. So first thing is like, hey, what just happened? I usually write that after I record episode 7 or the morning after I record it. Running through that, then starting to get some questions of what's going to happen in this episode. Is this a blank? Then the cool thing about digital paper is you can mark up images and maybe if I do it like this angle, you can mark up images. So this is a map I borrowed, like an image of what's that ride called with the kids singing? Small World. So it's just doing some basic like brainstorming on there. Then more brainstorming questions are this. A lot of times if I don't have a idea of exactly what's going to happen, I have questions about what's going to happen. So this is stuff, because they're broken up into 2 groups. So kind of questions and brainstorming of, hey, we know they're in 2 different groups right now. What's going to happen to each one? Okay, do this. Do they do this? Do they do this? What ideas are they having? I had a general idea of what was going to happen. Okay, and then I ran through episode 6 because there was a couple continuity things I wanted to find out. So I took a bunch of notes from episode 6 and episode 5 and re-listened to them and took notes. Um, what does the bear want? Mary Bear, help to get upstairs. We can't leave. Uh, share. They have a shared adversary. I thought we had a deal. With somebody else to ignore somebody else. Then another cool thing is, yeah, marking up these images. So this is like a blueprint image I found of one of the room. Well, yeah, and I was able to edit the image and then kind of look at, okay, this that means that wall that's impenetrable. This is a skylight. Then more markups with notes and even drawings on it, just to help me visualize what's going to happen. Then this one is not. This is like a D&D map of two characters with notes. So again, kind of building the script with the idea that this kind of is like this layered story of a RPG and stuff. Then again, just more notes on that. And then another thing that's cool, you can see this red marking here. And again, I'm learning this process of this digital note taking or whatever you want to call it, because it's like, oh, now I can, when the characters were split, I could change pen colors and then label the pen, like the red pages were Zell and Eleanor. And then I could scan through like a thumbnail thing as I'm preparing to record the episode and start to refresh myself on their journey. And then purple, you can see the purple dot there, is was Lord von Shelwada in Granada. So again, brainstorming was happening with each character. Then like sometimes important stuff will come up because so the other thing is this is a very fluid process, even up to the recording and during the recording. So it's like I'm reading, writing, rereading, marking, then marking things to go back to, or in my as I'm getting closer and closer that like I'm building a tighter and tighter outline, but I might just be like I'll name stuff 1 or A or B in the outline, and I'll say, and then I'll go back in all the notes in a similar way to this orange dot or the purple dot, and start labeling the notes with a number, so then I can just. But this is cool because I was able to move the notes around in the notebook, which isn't normal in a notebook. So we'll see how this works out. But yeah, more notes. Brainstorm again, another brainstorm. Hey, what's happening? Oh, don't forget one more thing, which I think we didn't play it out. Then an outline. You can kind of see the numbers. This is an early outline, but it's like this is a early outline. Zell and Eleanor outline. Story beat 1, I guess it would be. Story beat 2, LVC and the crew, they land somewhere. 3, they discover somebody else. Well, also there's a pre-existing relationship. Beat 4, we go back to Zell and Eleanor. B5 is a side quest. This actually got changed, interestingly enough. And then it kind of petered out. That's all we had that far. Okay, and then sometimes if to stay ahead of writer's block, this is like a to-dos thing. So like questions and to-dos help me with writer's block. So this is a to-dos. Like I may have had a little bit of writer's block, so it's like write up a bunch of to-dos of unresolved things. So to-dos, figure out the dice rolls for Zell and Eleanor's battles. And then I listed who they're be battling. Okay, figure out a spell for something that Eleanor is going to do. And then actually I ended up doing that right then. So my writer's block was already broken with the second to do. It was like, oh, okay. And then I even, you can kind of see it, started to do a diagram just for, these aren't public facing diagrams, right? So this is like helping me in the storytelling. Would be meaningless if you saw it. But, okay, and then, oh, new idea. Then this next page, I don't know if this is the same day or the next day because I don't have it labeled, but oh, new idea. this new idea of how the environment's going to look, and why the environment's that way in this next phase of the adventure, in this next room or area. Okay. Oh, and then another new idea about how's this episode or the next episode going to end, and I won't spoil that because it's a big. It's just wait a second. Okay, holy cow. And this was really like this kind of looseness helped me unlock the rest of the story. Okay, and then we go into more explanation of the room. Then we jump back to Eleanor and Zell. Hey, are they going to get any outside assistance? Some of the stuff I ended up, and again, I talked about this in other videos, the idea of overwriting for Sleep With Me. So this case, whatever I had, however many pages I said, like overwriting, because I can't read through a page. For me, it's not a page a minute. So it's like one page is like a few minutes. So having 62 pages, I mean, they're not all new ideas. Some of it's refining the ideas and stuff. But the idea of having to record about, yeah, 60 minutes, having 62 pages is more than enough material. Might not be in this case a couple of the other keystones, which is like, it's just not material, right? It's got to be what is the subtext or the underlying thing of the story. The theme is journey into a world of friends. So it's layers of friendship, um, and layers of beings on a ride struggling with like their destiny, and friends struggling with being like where are we? I thought we were writing this adventure, now we're in this adventure. So a lot of times I have to remind myself. And then what's important, one more thing that's kind of important, I don't know why I decided that was important with this adventure, but it's like, hey, like especially with this one, it was like this trickster character kind of panned out in a different way, but like the opposition of this episode was going to be led by this trickster character, and they would of course negotiate, and then they'd be like one more thing that didn't end up happening. Um, Spoiler. Oh, okay, let's go back. Oh, this clue actually never got used. So this is another important thing because now it is actually important for the next episode. Um, about the wow. So I actually can't write it down right now, but cool. So then, okay, then going back, yeah. So this is like getting back into thematic stuff. So this is kind of important. So let me book. And this thing has bookmarks too. So it's like okay. Um, so this again, like digging in the theme, is another way to well, sometimes it breaks writer's block, but a lot of other times it's like, well, what am I writing here, and why am I writing it? Why would anyone fall asleep to it? And normally it does have to have some. It can't just be rambling nonsense, even though it may be that's how the product, that's how Sleep With Me is used. Um, Again, since this is like a theme park attraction ride, it's like that idea that the best animatronics have pupils, and that on some level you notice if animatronics have pupils or not, if they're supposed to be a human being. It goes same thing when it goes back to Sleep With Me. If there isn't something, um, some sort of stake and something happening below the surface, then it's just shallow water and it's going to churn and it's going to not keep up. So my theory with Sleep With Me, and it's like I don't. This is the kind of I want to be challenged to tell these stories. So being like, hey, going back and saying, okay, I thought this was about friendship. Okay, let's refocus again. This is what I have to do a lot of episodes, and then I'll listen to it, record an episode and listen to it and be like, okay, I don't know, where was the theme? Or I just listened to an episode and I said, wow, that really did hit the themes, which in this episode is friendship. So I'll just read this as like a list of qualities of friends: kind, honest, individual, independent, protective, playful, trustworthy, listen, adventurous, nurture, help, respectful, accepting, loving, encouraging, forgiving, push, confront, challenge. So again, then when you have that, and this isn't for every story, this is just for this, but then it's like, okay, what's the antithesis of that? And I think I've talked about it. I don't think I have it in my bag right now, but I'll like use like an emotion wheel. There's a lot of them now, and say, okay, well, what if okay, like nurturing. Well, what are the emotions with nurturing? Safety. What's on the opposite side of safety? Or what are some of the flavors of emotions or character traits? It doesn't have to be emotions. Okay. What's the opposite of someone that's playful? Well, okay. Well, which character is going to represent that? How's that playing out in the conflicts? Um, behind the scenes, or because yeah, it's just like what's driving stuff. And again, this is only stuff to strive to for me, or what drives the writing process. It's not stuff I actually ever actually achieve. Okay, then we jump back into brainstorming. Yeah, Mary Bear. Oh, this so then to go back to the script question, the actual question that was asked, Scoots. So this is scripting. You can't really see it, but it's like sometimes I'll not be writing plot, I'll be writing dialogue. Okay, roof, looking in the roof. Okay, what are we seeing? Okay, and then some conversations. And these are again loose prep, brainstorming how okay, this is between the opposition and the characters. Oh, okay. Like, by the way, we're friends with Mary Bear. Mary Bear. Oh, you don't you don't seem to be wow, you seem to be very green friends, like and organic. That's cool. Oh, and you have cool circulation buddies. Okay, and then whatever, I just stopped there. It was just like a piece of dialogue hit me, I write it down. And then a lot of times I'll use that new paragraph. I'll just use double. It looks like an equal sign. It means a whole new idea or whole new direction is like so that I don't think they're supposed to flow into one another. Okay, now we're in a tunnel with Zell and Eleanor. They're discussing things. Uh, okay, then another new idea. So again, it's like I mean, maybe part of it is like meeting myself where I am when I'm writing, because it's like, okay, you got another new idea. Let's do another sign. Okay, what about this? What happened with the oracle at the beginning? Then, um, again, mapping, which is unique for this because it is supposed to be a role playing adventure. So maps are a little bit more important. And is it taking place in a specific place? And specificity sometimes creates creative constraints that make the episodes better. Um, okay, so yeah, just going through that. Then some of this is can see is this is when I was working on Zell and Eleanor's encounters. A couple pages of that. Okay, then some more brainstorming. So yeah, it goes on and on and on. And then more mapping. It, oh, and then actually, like below the map is another important brainstorm about what is the trickster character wanting. They ended up not being a real trickster character, um, but yeah. So that's like a little bit about scripting an episode of Sleep with Me. Thanks for the question, and I'll try to find the other video. But you can find all those videos and just scroll through them and learn a lot more about how the podcast is made and what other people wonder about the show at sleepwithmepodcast.com/question corner. Thanks, everybody.